G'day, Tragic here, and welcome to Heropath. Like the Psychopath, we're the Heropaths running around killing everything. We kill goblins, we kill werewolves, we kill dragons, man. And this is, I have to come like what do they call it, transparency or whatever. This is a game that was provided for me by the publisher. Now, I don't take payment for doing videos. I just say, look, if you want to give me, like I used to get a lot of these and I always said no. And then I started to say, you know, that's why say no? So basically, if the game interests me, and this one does, I'll say, look, if you send me a copy of the game, I'll play it on the channel. And it's just a way for me to try out games that I wouldn't normally try, basically. And I just need to get that out of the way. So this is, I guess, sponsored might be the word. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, this is Heropath, which has just come out of Kickstarter. And it's an interesting sounding game. It's an adventure combat kind of game. Basically, it's similar in some ways to that Legend of Andor kind of style. It's not as puzzly as that game, obviously, but it's the same kind of, you actually have heroes, you move around a map in a combat scenario, but it's not card event driven like something like Arkham Horror. This one is also competitive. It has a number of other game modes. Got all these different ways of modifying the game rules, but for this playthrough, I'm just playing 4-player classic in inverted commas, which is basically the base rules, which is competitive. Now, the goal of this game is to kill this big dragon that's running around, and we are not helping each other. So we actually can fight other heroes, we can poison them, steal items from them. And the goal is to go around, kill monsters, and all that kind of stuff. Now, what's interesting is that it's kind of like Andor, is in the more monsters you kill, the more powerful you get, but also the more powerful the enemies get. It has this track called the evil track or something. And as monsters die, they go onto this track, and that increases the difficulty of all the monsters. And there's all sorts of weird things you can sell people that like the goblins, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So there's quite a lot of cool things going on in this game. So it's going to be interesting to get into it. Now, this is a blind playthrough. This will be the first time I've ever played the game. So, like all my videos, probably shouldn't use this as a rules guide. I am notoriously bad at reading rule books, and I've already come across a problem, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, which I don't know the answer to. I've put a question on the Board Game Geek forum, but since there's only one other rules question on the Board Game Geek, and it has 0 responses after almost 20 days, I don't know whether I'll get a reply. So take that as you will. Anyway, so this is a pretty interesting game. Now, I've randomized the heroes. We ended up with the giant, the warrior, the elf, and the sorcerer. Now, the giant is actually from one of the expansion packs, which is basically a hero expansion. It added more cards and added another hero. So, apart from that, what you're seeing is the base game. So, the only addition is I've also got the wizard expansion. So, there's extra cards in the big decks. The other thing to take note of during this setup is that this this board game has a card drafting system that determines your initial hero, loadout, I guess is the word. So basically you've got typical inventory kind of thing. You have like an inventory, they call it the resource area. This holds not only abilities and spells, but it also holds items and, allies and all this kind of stuff. You also have actual equipped gear, which goes on you and all this kind of stuff like this. Anyway, there's actually a draft that determines what you gain for those pieces. And it's a standard draft. You draw X amount of cards, you pick one and you pass it along. The only interesting thing about the draft is that it is a non-persistent draft, which means that the cards that you have previously drafted, you can then send away during the next stage of the draft. So say I take the sword, and then in the next draft, the next time the deck comes back to me, there's actually a great big axe. I can then add the sword to the discard. So it's not like you're not permanently stuck with your choices. You just end up with 6 cards of your choice at the end of the draft. Now, because I'm playing solo, even though I'm playing competitive solo, the way I've done the draft is that I've just dealt the decks and I've just gone through them and picked whatever cards I want and given them to whatever hero. So I've skipped the draft step. So just take that into account. Now, there is one real problem that I'm having, which is I have this card called Magic of Darkness, which has like, you know, this little running movement symbol in the top corner, and you're supposed to place the cards in the resource area that matches that symbol, and I cannot find this symbol. I have no idea where to put this card. It is a magic card. Does that mean it goes in the magic slot? And if that goes in the magic slot, then all the other cards I've put in the resource slots are in the wrong slot. So really confused already about what to do. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're going to get into this pretty soon. I will see you guys next time.